Gypsy Jazz or Jazz Manouche is typified by this rhythm. You hear that a lot in those old jazz tunes, and that's great when we're swinging the eighth note. We have the triplet feel or a shuffle or whatever you want to call it. But when you're playing a song like, let's say, a bossa nova where there are no shuffled notes, what rhythm are we going to use? That one doesn't exactly work. Let's take a song like Black Orpheus, which is a bossa, and see what that would sound like if we use that old school le pompe rhythm. So that works and is actually kind of cool, but it doesn't really capture the groove of that song. So a gypsy jazz guitarist would probably use this rhythm instead for Black Orpheus. So this rhythm really solves the problem for songs that don't swing, like a bossa nova. But the truth is, this Gypsy Bossa is such a straight-ahead, all-purpose rhythm that we can use it on almost any song in 4/4 time. And I'm going to show you how to play it right now. When I think of the Gypsy Bossa rhythm, I think of two songs in particular, For Sephora. And also Bossa Dorado. Those are two awesome tunes and a great way to get into this rhythm. We'll use the chords for Sephora to learn this in a second. But what's happening here is these gypsy jazz players are playing with a pick most of the time, almost exclusively, and they're hitting the strings while they're muting to get that percussive sound. So they're not slapping the guitar, and I'll show you some options later on how we can get the percussive effect in different ways that a steel string player, certainly a player with a pick, wouldn't be able to get. But for now, we'll do it the way that they're doing it, except with our fingers. So lay your fingers over the strings and make sure that you're not squeezing in at all so that we hear a nice tight snare drum sound here. We don't want to, if you squeeze too hard on accident, we don't want to hear that mushy sound or anything like that. A nice crisp snare drum sound. And I'm using my middle and ring fingers, squeezing them together. We have more surface area with those two nails. Get a little more, I think, attack and volume out of that. Anytime we go up in this lesson, we're going to be going up with the thumb. So before we really play the rhythm, let's just practice going down with the middle and ring, and then up with the thumb, and just keep it all muted the whole time. Down, up, down, up. We're in 4/4 time, as I said. We have all 8 notes, so we're counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now we're not even yet playing a chord, but give it an extra slam on the 2 and the 4. That's a classic rock and roll backbeat, and that's why this is such an all-purpose rhythm. In so many of those classic old rock songs, the snare drum is going to hit on the 2 and the 4, and that's why we can just kind of plop it into so many pop songs. So when you are doing what we just did, give it an extra slam on the 2 and the 4, or you could also say lighten up on the rest of it. We're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the groove is going to be like da 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 da. So we can really lighten up on everything other than the hits on the 2 and the 4. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. If you play nylon string guitar, the 3 most essential techniques are picado, rasgueo, and arpeggio. Check out my free workshop below where we do a deep dive on these 3 techniques, and I give you a great drill that combines them all together and gets you playing this correctly in very little time. Let's use the chords from the main theme of For Sephora. We have an E minor chord here, a bar chord. Then we'll go to A minor 7 on the 5th fret. Then up here on the 7th fret, B7, and then we're back to E minor. Now we could play those open, but as you'll see, that introduces a lot more of a challenge here. In order to get that muted sound, we'll have to go and kill it over here. That's way harder than just taking a bar chord, and this is the one good thing about bar chords. We can get this muted effect by just relaxing. So we're gonna go down, up, relax it right there, and that's our 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and. It really is as easy as that. You could also keep it muted for another 8th note if you wanted to. Let's see how that would sound. Still hitting it harder, hopefully, on the 2 and the 4. But let's try, just for the challenge of it, and I think it is more correct and better, to only get the hit on the 8th note, on the 2, and then on the and of 2, squeeze the chord again, and we'll hear the notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So if you're a fingerstyle, nylon string, flamenco, classical guitarist, we might be used to slapping the guitar and getting percussive effects in all kinds of different ways that you really can't do when you're playing, certainly when you're playing with a pick, or with steel string, even with your fingers, because you can sometimes just shred your nails doing that. But before we do that, let me try to at least partially prove my point about this being an all-purpose rhythm. Like, what would this sound like over a song like Hotel California? Let's look at how we can get a percussive effect without muting the strings in the left hand. So this is going to allow us to play open chords now, which are easier than bar chords. So instead of having to lay our fingers over the string and not squeeze for that moment and slam it like that, we're going to get it over here by playing a downstroke with your index. I know I said earlier we're only going to use these two. That's when we're doing it the traditional Gypsy Bossa way. But here we're going to use the index finger down. You could use your middle finger. But we're going to immediately do this without your left hand, just to prove that you can do it. We're going to immediately silence all the strings. So we're going to get the same sound. I think it's a better sound by doing this. So watch. I think to me that's a much less fatiguing way to do it, and I kind of like the way that really snappy snare drum thing happens. What I was doing there is actually using 3 fingers. I was going down with my index, up with my thumb, down with my middle, and then immediately killing it, and then up with the index again. And that works a lot better. I think it's a more easy thing to do, certainly, but it actually facilitates a lot more things that can happen in the left hand. For example, if you wanted to do something like this, with that slap. So I'm never muting the strings, so I don't think we could do what I just did, if you would like to do that, with the normal way of playing the Gypsy Bossa, and that is, holding a bar chord, let's say, and relaxing. So much more versatile when we do it that way. This Gypsy Bossa rhythm is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of all the things that we can do just in the world of Gypsy Jazz on nylon string guitar. So check out this video and I'm going to show you way more techniques, how to do that more typical Gypsy Jazz rhythm, waltzes, the bolero, the Gypsy Bossa as well, and some licks and lead playing that we can all do on nylon string just with our fingers.